Evening. My name is Albert Garcia. I'm the Chief of Police for the Levelland Police Department, and we wanted to provide y'all a briefing in regards to the situation that we've had unfold here in Levelland. Before we get into the briefing, I want to first of all ask our community members and those around us to continue prayers for those officers that we've had injured today and those that we've lost. So with that said, I want to begin by telling y'all a little bit about what got us to this point today. So at about 11:17 earlier this morning, we had a Texas Highway Patrol trooper that had made and engaged in a traffic contact with a person that he later arrested. Although during that traffic contact, he had a separate individual that was driving recklessly, and as he reported to us, appeared to be trying to bait him into some type of confrontation. He advised that suspect vehicle was an older model Chevrolet pickup, white in color, that was possibly traveling back into the city of Levelland. Officers from Levelland Police Department, Hockley County Sheriff's Office went out to try to locate that vehicle, but we were unable to do so at that time. At about 1:12 this afternoon, we received a call from a concerned citizen in the 1300 block of 10th Street that said that their neighbor was acting strange and was walking around with what appeared to be a large gun. Officers arrived on scene just shortly after. That same Chevrolet pickup that was reported to us by the troopers in the driveway. Because we didn't have very much information in regards to whether or not this weapon was truly in fact a real weapon or not, we took precautions. We did not approach the residents immediately. We began to try to get negotiations started with the Levelland Police Department negotiator. We did make contact with him, very short and brief. He was very hostile, did not want to visit with or talk to Levelland police officers at that time. It was only a matter of minutes after that contact that the suspect opened the front door to the residence and began firing on the Levelland police officers. We did return fire, but it did not appear that we struck the suspect at that time. Because of such a violent and volatile situation that we had, we called on support from the Hockley County Sheriff's Office, who had arrived on scene as well to assist us, but also from our friends and counterparts in Lubbock and Lubbock County SWAT team. Within 24 minutes, Lubbock County SWAT team arrived on scene and began to set up their command, and were getting briefed by myself and the sheriff in regards to what was happening. It wasn't long thereafter that we had additional shots fired where we had officers. So at this time, this is still an ongoing and fluid situation. There's going to be some information that we probably cannot provide you at this time, but we did want to try to brief y'all and give y'all as much as we could. So at this time, I want to introduce Sheriff Kelly Rowe from the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office to speak a little bit about the loss of one of his troops. Sheriff Rowe.
Thank you, Chief. Obviously, it's a bad day for us. As I know everybody is aware, we did lose one today, one of the first responders with our SWAT team that was on scene initially. It's tough for me to put in a lot of words with regard to that loss, for the fact that we will be mourning with his family and his family throughout the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office and all of law enforcement. My phones have been non-stop today since the incident from all over the state, including some from around the country, with condolences and offers of support. As the chief indicated, this is still an active scene. We are still working on operational plans to bring this to a successful conclusion. But it's important to remember that as we stand here now, the seriousness of what these guys face on a day-to-day basis. We've had a total of 5 officers injured today, including the loss of Sergeant Bartlett. Our hearts, my hearts, and I know the entire country is with his wife and kids this evening. And we are going to do everything to bring this thing, as I said earlier, to a successful conclusion, and we'll sort out everything afterwards. So, on that note, handing it over back to the chief.
Thank you, Sheriff. So just to give everybody a little bit more information about some of the agencies that we have that have responded to this, because of the collaboration that we have and the relationships that we have with such an outstanding police, law enforcement, public safety type force. When things like this happen, when tragic events like this happen, we're all one big family and we come out to support each other every time. And so just to kind of give you all a little bit of idea of all the agencies that are out here supporting the Levelland Police Department and the Hockley County Sheriff's Office, the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office, we have, again, a multitude of agencies out here, including the Texas Department of Public Safety and the Rangers. Just to add this in there, the Rangers will take over this investigation once we bring this to a resolve. But we also have people that from other agencies. Brownfield Police Department has gone and responded to our city to help us. Littlefield Police Department, the Hale County Sheriff's, Levelland Fire Department, Lubbock Fire Department, Lubbock Police Department. As you see, Chief Mitchell's here with us right now, and his team has done a tremendous job in trying to make sure that we're trying to bring this to a resolve. We have ATF here, Secret Service, HSI, the FBI, and other federal type agencies that are here with us as well. The ATF is here. So, and I'm sure that I'm missing out a few of the other agencies that are here with us right now, supporting our agency, supporting our community, trying to do everything that they can to make sure that our community stays safe. With that said, we would like for all citizens of Levelland to understand how violent and volatile the situation is right now. It's still a fluid situation, so we'd like for everyone to please remain out of this immediate area as we continue to try to bring this to a resolve. So with that said, if anyone has any type of questions for myself, Sheriff Rowe, or DPS, or Chief Mitchell, or Sheriff Cyphers that's here with me.
You said this is still ongoing. Can you say whether anybody else is inside the house, or is it just that one individual?
At this point, the best that we can tell is that it's just that one individual that's still in the residence.
What are you telling the neighborhood, the individuals that are still in their homes?
Before it got to evacuate the entire neighborhood, we tried to remove them from the residences. We had some that would not leave their residences, so we asked them to just stay towards the rear of the residence and stay low, just in case any other shots were fired by the suspect or anyone else at that point.
What can you tell us about the suspect?
I'd like to go ahead and give that over to my friend Sheriff Cyphers to tell y'all a little bit more about maybe a history that he's given.
So, Ray Cyphers, Hockley County Sheriff. We are not going to, obviously, with what's going on, we're not going to identify this individual. This is ongoing. We get no names. Have we had prior contact with this person? Yes, we have. He is known to our agencies, but we are not going to go into any specifics about who this person is yet. That'll come later on as this is resolved. But for now, we're not identifying him. It's a bad scene. Out of respect for the officers who are injured and who have been killed, we are not going to give his name.
Can you give us an update on the other officers who have been injured?
Officers that were injured, Levelland Police Department had one, and Sheriff Rowe has the other, so it was for their two agencies. I'll let them address those.
For our agency, Sergeant Sean Wilson was injured. He was transported immediately to UMC Hospital in Lubbock, where he had to go immediate surgery. At this point, he's out of surgery, but he is in stable but critical condition. And as far as other additional officers that were injured, some of those have already been treated and released.
Exactly. All supervision. Yes. Well, 4 injured, 1 obviously we lost today. So, but with the chief's officer being the most seriously injured in that, and then 3 other deputies that involved in the initial response and in the first part of the lead up of shots being fired also received some minor injuries. But as the chief indicated, most all of those have been treated and released already.
This is a difficult question, whoever would like to answer this. We just honored Sergeant Kevin Cox 2 days ago. We tragically got in a very similar situation 20 years ago. How difficult has that been with that on everyone's mind going into today?
I know for our SWAT teams, there's still a lot of members that are currently on our SWAT team that were here when that tragically happened. So I know it's on their mind, but they're professionals, and we're going to do our job that we train to do each and every day to assist our fellow agencies.
Any other questions? Just a little bit about Sergeant Bartlett and kind of person that.
How long do we want to be here? Well, first off, let's just know that Josh was a true servant. Not only was he a veteran, served in the United States Army, served several tours overseas. Once he came on with us 9 years ago, in short order, he was already involved with tactical operations and SWAT, and has always had his community at the first and foremost of his day. And he was somebody that every time you saw him, he had a smile on his face, and he loved to do what he did, the job that he did every day. So again, I can't begin to even suggest what that kind of a loss means to us at this point in time. But he certainly, like I said, personified the true professional for American law enforcement, and especially right here with Texas law enforcement. So.
Any other questions?
In your experience dealing with situations like this before, what's the next step? What do you expect, having dealt with previous situations? What's going to happen next from here on?
Well, I'll answer that just in the sense that we have individuals that are providing constant surveillance around that residence, but I won't go into any of the operational details at this point, just because we know he's been fairly active watching phones and everything else. So you'll get fully briefed on how everything goes once this issue, as the chief has indicated, once it's resolved. We'll break down how the operation actually went from beginning to end. But for now, I want to reserve those operational specifics until we've executed them.
I know you guys have already mentioned there was 5 officers injured. Were there any civilians that have been injured in this incident?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No civilians.
Last question.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank y'all.